What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Braun Strowman apologizing to wrestlers, Vince refusing to do business with two former WWE superstars, all changes to the Wrestlemania card, which include minor spoilers, WWE's radical plans to improve its empty arena shows, a new Edge documentary, a possible Ric Flair movie, Jim Cornette refuses to watch AEW, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the first story, as Braun Strowman apologizes to wrestlers. The monster among men has caused a lot of controversy on social media by saying that if indie workers are strapped for cash, they should just work harder and find other professions like he did, going from strongman to wrestler. Now, this was in response to Evil Uno, who was trying to support indie wrestlers after many small promotions and shows have been shut down due to the recent outbreak and have as a result started to struggle financially. Even though Braun works for the biggest wrestling promotion in the world, he stuck to his opinion on Twitter, blocking anybody who didn't agree. Well, it seems that after a week, Strowman's opinion has changed and he has apologized to not just indie wrestlers, but wrestlers he works with, not knowing the struggles they went through to be in the position they're in now. Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer, explained, Braun Strowman has some friends who do understand what it's like to struggle. They explain things to him and Strowman has expressed deep regret and he's sorry for saying what he did. Now, whilst he hasn't publicly apologized, it's good to see he finally gets it. Next up, Vince refuses to do business with two former WWE superstars. Most of the time, Vince McMahon doesn't let anything get in the way of business, even personal feelings towards somebody who has held him up for money, threatened to walk out, or even defected to his competition. Now, they normally say no bridges ever truly burned with Vince, but that doesn't seem to be true, as there are two individuals in particular Vince never wants to do business with. One of them being Alberto Del Rio, who oddly enough claims the WWE has recently reached out to him, but this has been denied by several sources. And according to WrestlingNews.co's Paul Davis, it's to do with Alberto's age and various chances he's had. The other, not surprisingly, is CM Punk. Recently, Punk's agent reached out to WWE and Vince McMahon has labelled him as one man I just can't do business with. Is Vince seen as stupid with closing the door on a CM Punk return? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, all changes to the Wrestlemania card, and there are some minor spoilers. Now, like we mentioned in yesterday's news, if there are any spoilers regarding WrestleMania, we will let you know in advance. Now, this segment has some minor spoilers, but it doesn't give away any match results, but if you don't want to know, please be aware and refer to the timestamps in the description. Now, there have been a lot of changes made to the card before WWE has even aired the Go Home episode of Raw and SmackDown. One of the biggest changes is the replacement of Roman Reigns, who pulled out of Mania due to not wanting to risk his health. He has been confirmed to be replaced by Braun Strowman. Will Strowman shock the world by winning the Universal Championship from Goldberg? US Champion Andrade was also set to be in the Raw Tag Team title match with Angel Garza, but has now been replaced with NXT's Austin Theory due to suffering a rib injury during his tag match on last Monday's Raw. And speaking of the US title, the original plans involved a fatal four-way match between Champion Andrade, Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo and Rey Mysterio, but Rey has been quarantined. The same goes for Dana Brooke, who was scheduled to be in the six-pack challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Carmella was also originally part of the match, but decided to self-quarantine with boyfriend Corey Graves. The ladder match that was originally supposed to involve the New Day versus the Usos versus John Morrison and The Miz has now been oddly changed to just John Morrison versus one of the Usos. Yeah, we're being serious. One of the Usos is what's written down, and it's still for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Is this the first time tag titles could ever change hands in a one-on-one match? Let us know in the comments down below, but this change was made because The Miz turned up to the Performance Center ill. And lastly, Buddy Murphy was set to be in Rollins' corner for his match against Kevin Owens, but he's been injured. And those are all the current changes to the WrestleMania card. To be honest, the biggest frustration would have been that fatal four-way for the United States Championship match being changed, and the three-way ladder match. Those two would have definitely stole the show. Next up, WWE is looking to improve empty arena shows. With the health crisis still affecting much of the world, there's still no idea when sporting events and wrestling cards will be performed in front of fans. As we discussed recently, both the WWE and AEW have no immediate plans to resume airing their programming in front of fans, but in the WWE's case, they are working on a solution to the problem of there being no fans present, and it's quite radical. Ringside News is reporting that members of the WWE Fan Council recently received a survey listing several very interesting viewing ideas for alternate WWE programming. These ideas seem to mostly revolve around the action in the middle of the screen surrounded by webcams featuring different people. This is certainly a case of thinking outside the box, but would it work? Consider some of the options presented to the WWE Fan Council: being able to hear commentators and see video but no audio or fan reactions. Being able to see video and audio fan reactions without commentators. Being able to hear commentators and see video and audio fan reactions. According to the article, fans were also asked whether they would like to see celebrities and or WWE superstars watching and reacting to shows. No word on whether the WWE would implement these changes if it decided to do so, but one would imagine it would be soon unless the WWE doesn't foresee itself returning to live events within 2 months. What do you guys think of these ideas? Are there any you'd prefer? We think it'd be quite cool and a fun way to watch WWE programming. How's it any different to watching it with your mates otherwise? This is just a bit of social distancing involved. Next up, a quick Monday Night Raw preview. With WrestleMania coming in 6 days, the WWE has some big names appearing on the 30th March edition of Raw. Figure 4 Online is reporting Monday's Go Home show will feature WWE Champion Brock Lesnar, Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, Edge, and The Undertaker. The show, along with both nights of WrestleMania, has been taped in advance. As of this writing, WWE.com has not announced any matches for the show. This is unusual, especially with WrestleMania just 6 days away. The WWE has been putting zero effort into its empty arena Raw episodes, leading to its show of shows. Next up, a new Edge documentary debuts after WrestleMania. The WWE is releasing another of its 24 documentaries, this time on Edge. PW Insider's Paul Jordan is reporting the program entitled Edge the Second Mountain will air following the second night of WrestleMania 36 on the WWE Network. The doc will follow the WWE Hall of Famer as he makes his return to the ring after a 9-year absence. Some of the WWE 24 specials have been fantastic, so this definitely is worth watching. Next up, AJ Styles explains why he's fighting The Undertaker in a Boneyard match. While the WWE Universe is looking forward to The Undertaker facing AJ Styles at WrestleMania, there are still many questions about what their Boneyard match is all about. AJ Styles has been trying to clarify things and commented on his Mixer stream. Under the circumstances, I think there's a reason it's called a Boneyard match. We didn't want to say cemetery, graveyard. Let's tread delicately on this. Everything that's going on, it sucks. It's a combination of things you thought it was most likely. It's gonna be different. I don't want to give anything away. I want you guys to enjoy this. It is good that WWE is trying to avoid using those terms, but it seems counterproductive to use a euphemism, yet still have the match take place in a cemetery. We'll have to see what happens, but Styles is happy about how the WWE is trying to make the best of things. Because of the circumstances, I'm so glad that my opponent is The Undertaker because it's an opportunity to have a different match. I don't want to have it in an empty arena. You guys are the life and blood of what we do. We react to you, it's all about you. I wouldn't be anything without you, but you know how to react based on how you react. All this stuff matters. I feel for the guys who have had to have those matches. This is going to be the most surreal WrestleMania in the pay-per-view's long and storied history. Whether or not the WWE superstars will be able to rescue the show from failure seems to be seen, but you can be sure performers like AJ Styles will do their utmost to entertain the fans. Next up, Becky Lynch talks the importance of a live crowd. Current Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch recently spoke with ESPN's Ariel Helwani, commenting on a number of things including the importance of a live crowd. The man shared her memories of working in venues with just 7 fans and how she's grown to embrace the fans' reactions. I am somebody who has fed off the energy of the crowd so much, and it's been my connection with the crowd that has gotten me to where I am, and I know that without those people, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. She does share a remarkable connection with her fans, and there's no question that the WWE Universe propelled her into the main event at WrestleMania 35, rallying behind her as she was cemented as a main eventer. She also talked on the downside of performing in an empty arena. You're not going to get that same gratification that you go out in front of an audience and they let you know how well you're doing, how well you're not doing, and they're responding to you constantly. There's less self-gratification, but more concentration of nuances and what your message is. Becky vs Baszler will main event one of the 2 nights of Mania. The pressure will be put on her to put on a show-stealing performance. And finally, Jim Cornette's blood pressure can't cope with broken Matt Hardy. Yeah, last but not least, Jim Cornette is an old-school wrestling traditionalist, so fans shouldn't be surprised by his reaction to the segment on 25th March Dynamite when broken Matt Hardy apparently teleported his way to Chris Jericho. Speaking on his show The Jim Cornette Experience, the legendary manager quipped,
"It'll be the last AEW Dynamite review we ever fucking do. Because if they're gonna start this shit, my blood pressure won't take it. I'm done with that. That's what I thought was gonna fucking happen. I just didn't think it was gonna happen from their big stars. I thought it was gonna happen from their fucking Outlaw Mud Show stars."
While Cornette's experience makes him a valuable voice to listen to, that doesn't mean fans or promoters have to agree with everything he says. As always, the true test is whether the broken Matt Hardy gimmick puts butts in seats and increases ratings in the long term. But there you have it guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.